Hi, I'm Aiden from Mid-Atlantic Water, and today we're going to be installing the 2.5 cubic foot non-backwashing acid neutralizer. And we're going to go over from beginning to end what you need, how to actually install it, and all the basics in between. Here in Maryland, all of our installations are done in CPVC. So we're going to go over the fittings you're going to need and the tools you're going to need to do it. Now, if you do have copper in your plumbing from point A, which is your well tank, over to the unit, we want to cut all that copper out. Untreated water is passing through that copper pipe and it's still subject to corrosion. So we want to take all that out and we want to start fresh from your well tank, coming into the neutralizer and back to the main house line. So first and foremost, you're going to need a nice set of pipe cutters. And these are plumber grade pipe cutters used for cutting CPVC. You basically just put the pipe in the V, go through, boom, cuts it right off. So that's first and foremost. You're going to need those pipe cutters. You're going to need a small pair of channel locks, a large pair of channel locks, and a Phillips head screwdriver. And then as far as fittings go, for this installation, you're going to need about 20 feet of 3/4 inch CPVC FlowGuard gold. In addition to that, you're going to need a 3/4 inch CPVC ball valve for your main shutoff between the neutralizer and the well tank itself. In addition to that, you'll need about 15 to 20 3/4 inch CPVC 90s, and all this is available at Lowe's and Home Depot or your local plumbing supply store. We'll also need, now this is very important, a 1-inch female adapter, because these connections are 1-inch female or 1-inch male threaded. So this has an O-ring in it. You only want to hand tighten it. And then once you get it on, we're going to glue in a 1 by 3/4 inch CPVC bushing. And we're going to screw this on, and it's better to use CPVC because you don't have to worry about cross threading or screwing up the threads basically when you're using a brass fitting. So basically I'm just hand tightening it, and that's pretty much all you have to do. I already have this one set up. This is the same type of fitting, but I used a piece of 1-inch CPVC pipe and used a reducing adapter on here as well. Now these do move 360 degrees, so you can turn these and face them sideways or downwards or straight up in order to make it easier for the installation. So we'll face it out this way, and we're going to start coming over from our well tank. To make the connection to our well tank, we're going to use a 3/4 inch CPVC male adapter. And we're going to tape that up. We're going to put about 6 to 8 wraps of Teflon tape on it to make a watertight seal, so you hopefully don't have any leaks. So we're just going to wrap that around. I usually go about 8 just to make sure I don't have any leaks when I'm done at the end of the installation. And we're going to put that on with a pair of channel locks. We're going to start it by hand, get it as tight as we can by hand, and then we'll finish it off with the channel locks. And then once you get it snug, you don't want to over tighten it because you can crack the fitting. Once you get it snug, you can continue on with the rest of your installation. Years ago, you used to have to use primer and glue for CPVC or PVC. For CPVC now, we just use the 1-step Oatly glue. It's just a 1-step yellow medium glue. And you put a little bit on the fitting and a little bit on the pipe, and then you twist those together. You'll just take a little bit of glue, go around the pipe, and then you'll go around the fitting. You basically just push those together and give it a turn. In about 10 minutes, that'll be set up and ready to run water through. Now, since this is just a mock-up installation, we're not going to glue these fittings together today. We're just going to start here at point A, which is the well tank. We'll basically just run that there. And then we're going to put our main shutoff valve right in line, and we'll glue. You want to glue each fitting as you go. I usually shut that off. And like I said before, you'll need about 15 to 20 90s for a basic installation. And I pretty much do everything by eyeball, but you may want to, if you're not used to doing any installation or you've never done it before, you may want to measure. So basically, you can adjust your tank to make sure it's in the right spot. And then we want to go all the way back to about 1.5 inches to 2 inches away from the wall. So I'll hold it right about there. Cut that section off. And that fits really well. Now before I glue it, I'll take that back out. And typically with glue in a 90 before I put it to the wall. And there we go. That's the first part of the installation. And then you'll measure, you want to come up past this fitting here. Now, once we get situated, we'll move that closer to the wall. And then you can go ahead and add your 5 bags of calcite that came with the unit. Now these are typically what the lengths of pipe look like. They come in 10-foot lengths, and they're, like I said, this is available at Lowe's and Home Depot or your local plumbing supply house. So I'm gonna cut about 4.5 feet of the pipe off and make my next run going towards the system. So basically, again, you would glue the fitting. Now you can let that sit on the floor. Now I'm gonna come off of the system, and that's the inlet side. Now I'm coming in through the upflow inlet. So that's gonna allow the water to go down through the center distributor tube, up through the Vortec plate, and up through the calcite media in a circular motion, which is just like it's being backwashed every time you use water. We're gonna line this up, cut it right about there. Now the one thing that's good about CPVC, if you do make a mistake, you can always pull it apart. I'll usually line them up before I glue it, just to make sure. Cut down on the time, make sure it's level. You do want to put a level on it. I'm just used to doing it, eyeballing it, but I would take a level, put the level on it. It's pretty simple to do. I've helped a lot of people over the phone that have never done any type of installation before, and they turned out pretty good, judging by the pictures. All right, so now we have our connection from the well tank to the inlet side of the system, and then from here we will come to the outlet side of the system. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a 90, about a 4-inch stub of pipe. We will glue it here, put your 90 on, and then if we were actually running water through this, this would be our connection back to the main house line. So from here, we would run it back to the main house line, make the connection. Now, if you do have copper, we're going to use a SharkBite fitting. It's basically just a quick connect fitting. You push in one side on the CPVC, and you're going to push the other side into the copper, and you're done. Saves you trying to sweat the pipe and solder them together. So that basically from here, we would push that into the copper. Our connection will be done. The piping will be complete. We'll give that about 20 to 30 minutes for the glue to set up. And then we can slowly pressurize it. And what that means is we're going to slowly open that valve at the bottom with the blue handle about 1/4 of the way. And we're going to slowly let the tank fill up. I'll keep the cap on, but I'll keep it loose. And you'll be able to hear, once it gets to a certain point, you can hear the water hissing out, and you can feel air being pushed out as the water fills up from the bottom to the top. So once that gets to a certain point, it gets to the top and it starts squirting water, you're just going to hand tighten this, okay? And once you hand tighten it, I'm going to take a pair of channel locks, and we don't want to over tighten it. I'm going to put about 1/4 to a 1/2 turn, just like that, okay? And that's it. If you over tighten this, you're going to split the lip around here, and it's going to void the warranty of the tank. And we don't want to do that. So basically 1/4 to a 1/2 turn with channel locks once you've tightened it by hand, and you should be good to go, and you shouldn't have any leaks. And then when we get water running from an open faucet inside the house, or if it's a warm season, I usually open a hose bib outside, and once I get flow coming, I'll slowly bring it to full pressure, and I'll let that water run for about 10 or 15 minutes until it runs clear. And once it's clear, I can start running it through the rest of the house and get that neutral water in all the pipes and eliminate that corrosion of the plumbing and water using appliances. As far as what comes with the package when you order it online, you get 5 bags of the Calcite media, you get Clack C1190 control head, Clack bypass, and the Clack 1-inch threaded male connectors. You also get a service funnel, which is going to fit here in your fill port. About 18 months from your initial installation, which is the average time a homeowner is going to have to add Calcite to the media, you get this funnel which fits right in the hole, supports itself, and it makes it easy for you just to pour the Calcite in, or you can, if you can't lift the bag, you can just scoop it into the funnel, and it flows really fast, and it makes servicing much, much easier. In addition to that type of funnel, you also get your initial fill funnel. And this is good because it makes startup a lot quicker, because you're going to have to pour 5 50-pound bags of Calcite in a unit, and I've done hundreds of installations, and it's the least fun part of the installation itself. And this basically fits when the valve's removed. You're going to tape up, put a piece of painter's tape or masking tape or any type of tape over top of the tube that's underneath the head when it's off, and this fits right in the hole and supports itself, so it makes it easier for you to pour the Calcite right in. It speeds it up by like 70% as far as time goes. So that is everything that you get with the unit. Shipping is also free. Now, if you do have questions, I'm available 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Sunday. After 6 p.m., you can text us through our online text system or email us, and we usually respond to those up until about 9 p.m. Monday through Sunday after we close for the day. So I do encourage people to call. If you do have questions, if you need to call me 10 times in a day, call me 10 times in a day. I'm more than happy to help you.